Hello and welcome back to OJS for Editors. In this lesson, we'll start the copy editing process with a look at how CAFWE, the section editor, assigns a copy editor to the submission. You'll remember from the overview lesson that copy editing does not deal with the substance of the article. At this stage, the copy editor edits accepted articles for grammar, spelling, punctuation, and conformity to the journal's bibliographic and textual style. Depending on the number of staff for a journal, the journal manager can configure OJS so that copy editing is done by a separate copy editor or by the editor or section editor. Olamide, the journal manager for the African Journal of Scholarly Communication, has configured OJS to employ a separate copy editor. Here's how the copy editing workflow is arranged at our sample journal. First, the editor uses OJS to assign a copy editor to the submission. Next, the copy editor makes revisions directly in the manuscript and inserts questions for the author. We'll consider systems for tracking these changes in the next lesson. After the copy editor has done this, the author reviews the copy editor's revisions and responds to the copy editor's questions. The copy editor then makes final changes, removes the comments, and sends the manuscript to the layout editing stage. In this lesson, we're going to focus on the first step, the editor's task of assigning a copy editor to the submission. This is Kaigiso Ogus, the copy editor for the African Journal of Scholarly Communication. CAFWE, the section editor, would like to assign the new submission to Kaigiso for copy editing. Joe, show us the steps she takes in OJS to do this.
Now that the submission has cleared the review stage and CAFWE has recorded her decision to accept it for publication, notified the author, and sent the submission to copy editing, it will appear in the In Editing section of the section editor homepage. Remember that all of the editorial decision steps, recording the decision, notifying the author, and sending the submission to copy editing, need to be completed for the submission to appear in editing. Clicking the submission title, CAFWE can begin managing the editing stage of the submission process. Below some basic information about the submission, the editing page is divided according to the 4 editing subtasks: copy editing, scheduling, layout, and proofreading. In the copy editing area, clicking Assign Copy Editor takes her to the list of copy editors for the journal. Your journal may have many copy editors depending on factors such as the amount of research your journal publishes, whether you employ paid copy editors or use a number of volunteers, and so on. The search feature on this page can be especially helpful when you have many copy editors to draw on. In our case, the journal only has one, so CAFWE clicks Assign next to Kaisa's name and is automatically taken back to the submissions editing page. Now she'll want to send an email to Kaisa requesting copy editing for Fatima's submission. Fortunately, OJS makes this a very simple process. As with other tasks we've seen in the OJS for Editors course, there is a letter icon for automatically sending the request with no need to go into an external email client. Before we generate the email, let's stop to notice how OJS allows the section editor to keep track of the communication and work which is underway at each stage of the copy editing. There are 4 columns, one for generating requests for copy editing work at each of the 3 stages, one for monitoring the date when the task was begun by the copy editor or author, one for monitoring the date when this work was completed, and one for acknowledging the journal team members' work after each stage is completed. Getting used to reading this grid to check the progress of the copy editing is a key skill for section editors working with OJS. Later we will see a similar system for coordinating and monitoring the back and forth work of proofreading the submission. Now let's generate the request for copy editing. As you can see, the email provides a handy set of instructions and a URL to the submission so the copy editor can easily get started. The section editor can edit the mail if she likes, but should be careful not to delete important details such as the submission URL. Once CAFWE has sent the request email to Kaisa, that brings us to the end of the present task, assigning a copy editor to the submission. In the next module, we'll switch perspectives and see how Kaisa responds to the request for copy editing.
Thanks, Joe. And thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next time.
Ilele lo benela